objectively aware of, alright, it's my turn to say something. What am I going to say?
So we were on about, where are we going to rewind to? We were on about Cards Against Humanity, and you were talking about a joke that could be offensive, but is also funny in some respects.
Yeah, and it's like, I would instinctively know in that situation, because you just know what you find funny and what you don't find funny, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that was scary for me was that I no longer instinctively knew what I found funny and what I didn't find funny, and what I found exciting, what I didn't find exciting. These kind of things, I just lost my kind of perception of myself completely, and it just felt like I was this perception, not really knowing what the fuck is going on, but trying to stay in keeping with the ego, the character that I am. It was like on and on ego death, and it's like just complete detachment from reality, and it just gone way too far.
This being your experience with...
It's weak now. This is the thing, like having if I get high, I get very, very quiet and very, very numb outwardly, because I don't know what the fuck is going on in my head. I'm trying to process it all. It's like
what's real, what's not reality versus
kind of,
the metaphysical aspects of your...
To an extent, I think I'm too grounded in the metaphysical realm than I am in the actual realistic realm. It's a little bit too, like, sometimes that's just not appropriate. Like, I can't immerse myself in a moment and get the kind of natural excitement.
What do you mean by... So you said... you said something that wasn't quite right.
Think about it on a more simple level. Think about it like, you're watching something with someone, right? And when you're watching something with someone, you feel connected with them because you're having a shared experience.
We're talking Netflix and chill kind of thing.
Yeah, imagine you just, or anything, like anything at all. I had a conversation with my granny when I was high. And my granny's someone that I trust to the ends of the earth. I love her to pieces and feel no expectation of judgment or anything like that. Just pure acceptance, love and belonging, right?
Unconditional,
exactly. But being high, I questioned all of that, and I didn't feel comfortable or safe in that environment. Even though this is someone I've known my entire life, trusted my entire life, loved my entire life, and nothing had changed. But I was high. And I was thinking, what's she thinking? Not listening to what she's saying and having that conversation that we're having. I was responding to it, but it was a massive effort to find the correct responses to be in keeping with me, with who I am and what I am.
Well, if it's unconditional love, she must know you so much so that she can read you like a book.
Yeah, well, there's that, but I think I'm very good at hiding it. I'm very good at keeping my...
You got to keep in mind, these are the people that brought you up. Do you know what I mean? They've known you longer than you've known them.
That's the point.
They're the ones that are...
Yeah, but it's the same with anyone, It's like...
No, you say anyone, but it's the difference from meeting family members and someone you've just met in the street.
Yeah.
Your family members know everything about you. The person in the street has just got a list of stereotypes.
Yeah, that they have to use to judge you and understand you.
It's just seeking understanding for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. But this is what I'm saying, is that it was unprejudiced towards who this afflicted itself towards, in that everyone, when I'm high, is a stranger to me. Is a complete
paranoia, man. Absolute paranoia.
It's just pure fucking deep paranoia. But it's not the classic paranoia that we come to know and understand. It was more of a metaphysical paranoia of, I feel dissonant with reality. I don't feel like I'm harmonizing with reality, where I feel like I'm kind of
growing,
displaced from it, and like it's fictitious. It's not something that is flowing well. It's something that is every every wave and every trough I'm not flowing with. It's going against me. I'm out of phase with it, and it's so fucking strange, and it's so helpful when I'm on my own. I can sit and meditate, I can just think, and I can reflect and study it and analyze it. But when you're in a social situation, for example, and you're chilling with someone, something like that, and you're high, and all you're doing is analysing the situation that's ongoing.
It's ongoing.
Exactly.
You can read into it as much as you want. You can go scuba diving to the deepest fathoms of the ocean, and you find what you find. Usually the best bits are the coral and the sharks, man. There's something about sharks. They've been around since dinosaurs, son. Dinosaurs. Do you know what I mean? Think about how evolved they are.
Yeah, no. Predatory machines. I think.
Well, no, they've been portrayed to be killers when they're just surviving.
Yeah, well, that's what anything's doing, isn't it? That's what anything's doing. They're just using their instinct and doing what they do. A shark is a shark is a shark. And a shark does what a shark does. They're not evil. They're not good.
Would rather be a dolphin, in all fairness.
Totally wrong. No, that's exactly it. But it's just like, I don't know, man. It's just it's too much thought unnecessarily, where feeling needs to be happening instead. Too much logic, not enough.
Can
emotion.
compromise feeling. But when, say for instance, with Marco in his case, when he's got a point to present, it seems like the emotions are kind of just taking hold. And it really compromises my ability to listen. I really do struggle to listen, and I have to admit there's been parts where I just zone out, and it's probably because I haven't eaten properly in the past week. I haven't had water today. All I've had is, tea pretty much. Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was like, all I've had is water and there's tea there. Do you know what I mean?
No. It's very easy to zone out, especially in the world that we're living in. Zoning out, because I learned this from a really fucking abusive relationship I was in. The girls with she had a daughter, and I was daughter's stepfather. And I noticed something that kids always do, and I picked it up off her and I started doing it because I realised why she was doing it. I didn't mean to, but she just, when kids just stare off into space and they zone out.
Well, it's the imagination, isn't it?
But it's not that. This is the thing. A child is completely trapped. A child can't escape a negative situation. Imagine you're a child, your parents are arguing. You can't run away out of the house because you rely on your parents for support and to survive. You can't stop the argument from happening because they're your parents, they know better. And you can't remove yourself from the situation, say you're in the same room or something, or just the same house and you can hear it. You don't have the autonomy of person and character.
The autonomy of person and character.
But you have to.
So what do you mean by?
You can't
they're three interesting words. Autonomy being kind of freedom of choice.
Yeah, ability to just do freedom. Autonomy of person and character. So you don't have the strength of character to be able to stop that argument from happening, to be able to intervene, and change the dynamic, because you're not the one who has that power.
It seems to be that they have so much influence in who you are as a person. Take for example, like most people, they aspire to be what their family members were.
Yeah.
Some people don't.
I'm talking about why kids zone out. Right?
Why they zone out?
Yeah, so because they're in a situation where they have absolutely no power to escape, but they need to escape it. And so they do this thing, right, where they'll stare, and it's vacant stare. Their consciousness is not in that stare. They're looking, and their eyes are just kind of fixed on the same place, and they're just doing this. And all kids do this.
The children aren't, they're not exposed to the world, or the real world.
They have to rely on their parents, right? And that's why kids have this ability to escape their situation.
Well, not all kids have parents.
No, but all kids have the ability to zone out like this. This is what I'm saying. It's a simple concept. Just the concept.
Getting lost in your imagination.
Yeah, just retracting into your mind and staring, because you can't take yourself out of the situation that you're in. You can't take yourself out of the physical situation where you're feeling very distressed by your parents arguing around you. So it's just an example. I'm not saying all kids have parents, etc., etc. Just when you're a child and you're powerless, because you're a child, you have a defense mechanism, which is to stare off into space and be just vacant, because it's your mind's way of protecting itself, right? It's just a thing that kids do.
It's a maze.
and it's something that we all have learned to do. We can all do it. Zoning out, we just become more and more conscious of it. It's easy to get into the habit of constantly zoning out because it's more protective for your brain and your mental health and your emotions to be able to effectively just take away the potency of the things that you care about. It's effectively making yourself not care.
What do you
Calcifying.
charity, man? You look like quite a charitable philanthropist.
I used to be. Yeah. I used to be really nice. Really, really fucking nice. But the world is a shit and evil place. And
It's cool. Why rule the world when you can change it? Do you know what I mean? Skateboarding literally was there for me when I needed it. Imagine being able to give the whole of, I'd say the whole of Africa, just being able to give one kid a lifestyle. Change a lifestyle that isn't revolved around making money. And it pains me because the Chongwan, they're going into Africa and they're just buying land, they're pulling strings with the government, they're gonna ruin and take away the culture.
yeah.
And yeah, okay, that's to an extent already been done. Whether that was for the greater good remains to be seen. That's gonna be a big question, because that is the point with capitalism being, you know, is this planet gonna run out of resources, and
Yes.
are we going to have to develop fast enough so we can actually survive?
Well, yeah, of course.
But nothing justifies what's happened. The only thing we can do is focus on the future.
yeah, society itself has zoned out because it feels powerless. Do you feel any power with regards to government, with regards to change? Do you feel like if you tried to change the world, you would be anything
No,
other
if
than
you want to
victimised?
change the world, you change your lifestyle. You go to charity
you lead,
shops.
You lead by example, right?
Lead by example. There's so many practical ways. It's like being a vegan, for instance. You know, my ability to be a vegan is probably compromised by my upbringing,
Yeah,
but I have lived with a vegan, and
I
I
believe in-
do know his beliefs, and he says his belief of being a vegan is that as a species we are as advanced enough to know that we can live without eating other animals.
Yeah, it's just our reluctance to actually accept it and change things, you know. And it's
What inflicts that?
petulant arguments
What
that you
inflicts
have.
that reluctance? Do you think?
Habit, addiction, tradition, feeling of powerlessness, feeling of a
Not-
fear
not
of
being able to
victim,
feel
of,
like
of
you're
being
not-
victimized, of being ridiculed. You know, like there's so many things.
Persecution, stereotypes.
Yeah, exactly. These things happen slowly, man. It's like I've been vegan, and my best friends in the world, he's vegan, and he's been vegan for ages. We went vegan together, and he stuck with it. My life's been quite unstable, and I've flitted around a lot, and I just have had to kind of do whatever, you know. But the belief system was there, and I empathise with it. I just managed to calcify myself enough to not care, but at one point I did care. The world has done enough to me for me to be able to compartmentalise that shit and do shit by necessity. But
So
reality of
it
it
sounds like
is-
you're living your life through reaction of the past.
somewhat, I think.
Is that what most people do? Is that
So, I think most
maybe
people
like
are-
gurus and like?
I feel like the majority of people are subconsciously, well, no, are not subconsciously, are fully consciously aware of their inability to change anything, of their utter powerlessness and their individualism in society. Everyone is fucking scared, but we're all masquerading like we're not, because everyone else is doing that, and no one wants to be the one who's scared, who can't
So,
handle their shit. Who can't
Are you saying
control
there
it.
needs to be a change?
Of course there needs to be a change. Look around you. Look at this fucking existence. It's stupid. Capitalism is a perfect example. A massive change needs to occur, because if it doesn't, in 12 years, we're all fucked.
12 years.
12 years, the white blood cells of the earth will fucking kill us all.
What do you mean?
White blood cells of the earth is water, and we're the virus that is and don't get me wrong, the earth
Do you
doesn't
think
give a
we
fuck.
are the virus? Do you think that?
We're the virus onto ourselves, because the thing is, we're not killing.
But we're
not
looking
killing the earth.
we're
Hang on.
looking at time, man. We're looking at time, and you're thinking 12 years. What about in the next 100 years, 200 years, 1,000 years?
12 years is when. 12 years
Look at
from
the
now. if
Mayan
we carry-
calendar, man.
No,
in
no, no, no.
2012.
I'm talking about.
Wait,
I'm
where-
literally talking about climate change. If we don't do shit within 12 years, if we carry on the way we're going, Humans will be extinct. We'll be fucked.
Yeah, that's why
we're changing the world.
there needs to be
into it.
people in this world that are thinking that far ahead, and there are people.
Okay,
Our last
and those
generation,
people are scared.
the war
Those people are
generation,
shitting themselves.
have literally designed a society so our generation can make something of themselves in the easiest way. Look at mobile phones. I hate the things, but look what they've done. They've made
totally.
communication possible.
But we're not focusing on the fact that none of that's going to matter if we fuck up the world to the point where the key aspect here is that we're not fucking up the world, right? The world doesn't care one way or another. What we're doing to the world is we're making it uninhabitable for ourselves. So we're warming it up. We're creating more extreme weather. I'm talking about global warming. I'm talking about climate change here. We're just making it so that in 12 years we won't be capable of habiting the world because we won't be capable of surviving the environment.
Alright,
It's
what
gonna be
would
too
you do?
extreme.
You had all the money, all the power, what would you do?
Oh man, there's too many fucking things. I don't know. I'm not a climate change expert. This is the thing. This is why people are scared.
Alright,
This is why there's
next
this
500
dissonance.
years, where do you see the world?
I see the world evolving in a different way if we don't do shit. The thing is,
Okay, well, how do we do that shit?
me and my buddy Joe, we've spoken pretty
No,
deeply
how?
about this.
Yeah, how about
I'm trying to give you an
cut the
example.
nitty gritty, let's go straight to the point.
We've spoken about this in quite detail. He's a really successful guy, right? And he's not scared of climate change. I'm fucking scared of climate change because I don't like feeling powerless. He's not scared of it
Dude,
because
we're talking
he
about...
reckons it. No, listen.
I'm trying to find a solution, man.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. He and I both recognise the fact that there are people who are far more qualified and far more capable of knowing the
Dude,
solution
ideas,
than
not
I
other
am.
people.
I don't know the
Ideas,
man.
man.
I
Let's
don't
get
have
creative
them.
and think
I don't
about
have-
stuff.
I don't have the ideas. because
Not other
it depresses
people's
me about the fact
ideas.
that all I can do is what I can do is recycle and fucking give a shit about climate change. All I can do is
Look,
I can.
the
I
future
can-
is...
I
Look,
can
okay,
spread
I'll be a
messages
spoiler alert. Space or the sea?
The sea.
Underwater houses.
Yeah, the sea.
Underwater
That's
trains.
what we need to do. We need to adapt. But I just don't think we can do that in 12 years.
12 years? Well, it seems more realistic than colonising a planet.
Yeah. But it's still not going to happen in 12 years.
And think about it, you'd be closer to the core.
12 years is tiny, and you think about the political agendas which are driving all of this thing.
That's
They're
true.
the
When
ones that are running
every...
everything and making decisions. They're the ones who are, regardless of how many people don't want an oil rig to go in, there's still a demand for oil.
Yeah, but the thing is, it doesn't make sense that world leaders, okay, they compromise because they've got their own country to run.
You've got that agenda.
They've got their agenda. Look at the Chinese. They're literally building they've built a self-sustained economy without morals.
Yeah.
The future looks bright. What they're doing's not. Scuba diving, I remember these two, only been scuba diving twice. These two Chinese, they don't care about the environment. They're literally walking on the coral. The coral.
That's not good, is it?
And our
Yeah,
diving
yeah.
instructor literally went skits.
Yeah, I bet.
Because
People got no respect. And when you're in the position where you're feeling like you're 1 out of 9 billion people, but you're the one that gives a fuck.
is it 7 billion?
It's 9 billion now.
Is it? Nah.
9 billion people.
Really?
Yeah, man. It was 7 billion like 3 years ago.
Hey,
Now it's
give
like-
that a quick Google,
Oh,
man.
man.
Let's find out the exact
of the world
population.
is 9 billion people.
Right, so we're waiting for the ambulance and police to